Welcome to the Lose Your Big Ass Stomach podcast. I'm your host, Jay Jackson, and my mission here is to help you get rid of that big ass stomach and take back control of your health so that you can look and feel your best by being the best version of yourself, mentally and physically, while destroying the mediocre agenda society is trying to brainwash you into, and breaking our families' generational curses of being unhealthy by being a healthy and fit role model. It's time to set a new standard. It's time to set a new standard of living. If you find the podcast helpful, be sure to hit that follow button because that helps us build a movement. Let's go. Guys, a question I get a lot inside my DMs is, what supplements should people be taking for weight loss? Mainly weight loss. Some people, they reach out to me, they talk about like energy and like stress and things like that. And so normally I reserve this type of information for my coaching clients, but I do want to share it with you guys as well to add a little bit more value, so that way you're not spending a mini fortune on supplements wondering why they're not working for you, because there are supplements that don't work, and there are certain things that I see people are doing the wrong way that's causing the supplements to not work the way they're supposed to. Okay, and so the first thing before we dive into the supplements is you have to have a strong foundation. Okay, most people are trying to take fat burners and protein shakes, and creatine, and vitamin D, and all these different things, and they're wondering why it's not working for them. They're wondering why they're not losing weight, and that's because their foundation is not leveled. What I mean by that is you're not eating properly. If you don't have like solid nutrition habits, if you don't have a training routine, I'm not talking about just working out and winging it. I'm talking about have an effective training routine. This is what you call a foundation. Okay, even sleep. If you're not sleeping a good 6, 7, or even 8 hours, the foundation is shaky. You got to get rest. Okay, if you're not getting rest, of course you're going to have cravings and feel irritable and have brain fog and things like that. You got to get enough sleep. Okay, and so this is that's what I mean by foundation. It's kind of like if you're building a home. You can't build that home on sand, because the sand is not a strong foundation. You know, the house is going to start breaking and having, you know, cracks and all kind of things with the flooring. And so that's why it's important to have that foundation. Okay, and so let's go ahead and get into the supplements. Now that I've shared that with you, you know, use that information as you see fit, because if you go buy these supplements and you're not doing these things that I just shared with you, you're wasting money. Okay, so the first one is this: protein. All right, protein shakes, which is one of the most obvious supplements. Most people think that this supplement is just more so for like gym culture, gym bros, and bodybuilders. But protein shakes are a supplement for the lack of protein that you're consuming within your diet. Okay, most people wonder why they have pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes, even though they may be eating healthy, and it's because they're protein deficient. They're calorie high. They're eating healthy, but they're very deficient with their protein intake, which causes metabolic issues like type 2 diabetes. Okay, and so this is why it's important to consume not just protein shakes, but eating protein within your diet. You know, chicken, fish, steak, beef, eggs, egg whites, things like that. Those are proteins. But what I find is a lot of the successful coaching clients that I help, they don't have time to be in the kitchen all day. You know, they need something quick, something that's simple, something that's convenient. And this is where we use protein shakes. You don't feel like you have time to eat a full meal. Not saying you need to be skipping meals, but you can use a protein shake supplement or a protein supplement to increase that protein intake that you would have just skipped out on had you missed that meal. Okay. The other benefits of drinking protein shakes and consuming protein shake supplements is that it helps you regulate your blood sugar. Instead of eating muffins, donuts, bagels, croissants in the morning, and you're wondering why you have brain fog, or in the afternoon you're eating things like big footlongs from Subway or footlongs from Jersey Mike or somewhere, which are going to spike your blood sugar, and you're going to find yourself feeling tired and having brain fog, you can eat a snack or a meal that has more protein in it. Less carbs. Not saying you have to get rid of carbs completely, because fruits and vegetables are carbs. You know, rice and potatoes are carbs. There's no bad carb. But if you're over consuming on carbs, it's going to spike your blood sugar. And you're gonna wonder why you're going to the doctor and your doctor's like, hey, we got to put you on we got to put you on diabetic medication if you don't start tightening up. Okay? And so this is why it's important to be consuming protein on a daily basis, specifically in every single meal. If you want to regulate your blood sugar, that way you're not having sugar cravings, that way you're not having brain fog, and yes, also so that you can lose weight. Okay? That's the first one. That's the first supplement. The second supplement is vitamin D3. Okay, if you have a career where you have to be indoors a lot, at your office, at home, or at your job site, most likely you're deficient in vitamin D. Especially if you notice that you have low energy, if you notice that you have low motivation, if you notice that you're always having brain fog, you're always feeling tired, like it just takes a lot more effort for you to get through the day. More than likely you're deficient in vitamin D3. Okay? And so I was having a conversation with a lady who slid in my inbox maybe about a year or so ago. And I don't know what made her, message me, but she was like, hey, my son, he had to go to the hospital and they found out that he was in critical condition, but the reason why is because he was deficient in vitamin D. And I was like, wow. At that time, I didn't know that vitamin D was that important. But apparently, after me doing a lot of research on vitamin D, it's critical for not just energy, but just overall immunity, immune system, wellness. You want to have energy. If you notice that you're tired all the time, it's something about your health that's lacking. You shouldn't be tired all the time. You shouldn't have brain fog on a daily basis. If you feel those things, if you feel those symptoms, there's something that you're doing or something that you may be deficient in, like vitamin D3. Okay? Sometimes some people who are just eating a lot of junk food, not exercising at all, being very sedentary, those things can also affect, the tiredness, the brain fog, the lack of energy. But let's say you're making an effort to do the right things, but you're still feeling very tired, mentally and physically. There's a high likelihood you may be deficient in vitamin D. Okay? And so that's a supplement I started taking about a year ago. Made a significant difference in my life. Significant. Like I remember at one point, I reached out to my dad. I was like, man, I'm doing everything the same, man. I don't know if it's my age because I done hit my 30s or what, but I just feel like I don't have that extra win like I used to have. Like just being at that stamina. And he started telling me about some other supplements, and I was like, nah, man, it don't seem like I need that type of stuff. And it wasn't until I started doing more research on vitamin D, I started consuming vitamin D3 in the morning or every day, and voila, more energy. I'm like, wow, I was deficient in vitamin D, and so now I have more energy. That's one of the first things I take when I wake up in the morning. Wake up, pray, drink some water, drink a little coffee, vitamin D3, and so that's the second supplement. It's going to help you get your energy level up. Third supplement is magnesium glycinate. Magnesium glycinate, all right? So magnesium glycinate is going to help you manage your nerves, manage your nervous system. If you have a very demanding career, like a lot of my successful coaching clients, working, 8+ hours a day, and really pushing, you're driven, you're ambitious, you want to work, but you're just like, man, putting a lot of stress and strain on my body and your mind. You want to take magnesium glycinate, okay? This is something that's going to help you sleep better. This is something that I take at nighttime because at one point I started feeling like after I would wake up in the morning, I was really tired. I was like, man, I just had like 7-8 hours of sleep. Why am I still exhausted? What's going on here? And you did some research. I'm a big researcher. I always like to try to learn new things, and started learning more about magnesium. And obviously, there's tons of different magnesiums out there, and magnesium glycinate is the one that you can take before you go to sleep. That's going to help you get deeper sleep, help you feel more well rested. So when you wake up, you feel refreshed, like you feel ready for the day. To go do your business meetings and be a leader, lead by example for your family and your team at work or in your business. And so magnesium glycinate has been super big impact, had a super big impact on my life. Okay, not just weight loss, but also just like energy, focus, managing my stress. Very, very important. Okay. Next one, number 4, ashwagandha. All right, ashwagandha is another one of those stress management supplements. And the reason I talk a lot about, the reason I'm sharing these different supplements with you, and I'm not talking just about like weight loss supplements, is because these are things that go on in our daily life. Like, I'm pretty sure the majority of y'all who are listening to me, you have a very demanding career, you're successful, and you get stressed. You know, your career is stressful at times. You know, the demands that it causes you to have, you know, with calls, meetings, traveling, you know, thinking, you know, all these different things, that's stress, you know, and along with having certain tight deadlines, even more stress. You know, if you didn't have the tight deadlines, let's say, you know, the deadlines were way further out, it wouldn't be as much stress, but you have to get things done in a certain time frame. Plus, you got to have the energy and mental bandwidth to go back home and enjoy time with family if you have a family, you know, or if you have a special person or whatever it is. And so, that's why it's important that you manage your stress. Because when you manage your stress, now you're able to have the mental bandwidth and energy to hit the gym. Now you're able to have the mental bandwidth and energy to want to eat even better. You can think more clearly. You don't have that fogginess in your mind, you know. And so, like I said earlier, you got to have nutrition on point, though. You got to be exercising. If you're not doing these things and, you know, you're just expecting to take these supplements, it's going to be a waste. You're going to wonder why it's not working for you. And so that's why it's important to have structure, okay, with your eating habits and your training routines. So that's the 4th one, if I'm not mistaken. And then the 5th one is riboflavin, also known as vitamin B. All right, vitamin B2, if I'm not mistaken. And so the importance of this is one that I've recently started learning more about, but it helps with absorption, okay? Absorption of our essentials like protein, healthy fats, carbohydrates. Once we enter our 30s, our 40s, and our 50s, our body still consumes the calories. It can still digest the foods and beverages that we drink and eat, but it just doesn't extract the vital nutrients like it once did when we were in our 20s and our teens. And so we have to continue to help our gut, you know, absorb these things, and our body absorb these essentials, and so that way, you know, we're getting the value from what we're eating and drinking. And so riboflavin is going to help you absorb those foods, but also have more mental focus, okay, more energy. I've even heard there's been research where people who have migraines, people who have, like, you know, mental challenges where, like, they just have low mental energy, lacking focus, things like that, riboflavin can help with these things. Headaches, it can help with these things, okay? Because a lot of times headaches come from, you know, you're more than likely deficient in something. Or maybe you may be stressed. So therefore you need to take one of those supplements I just talked about earlier, like ashwagandha or magnesium glycinate. And so these are the types of supplements that I recommend for my coaching clients. There's other ones like creatine and you know, omega-3s and all these types of things like that, but I go into more detail with those things inside of my private coaching program, where we do weekly group coaching calls, weigh-ins, progress photos, check-ins. I map out a full flexible eating nutrition plan for them, and we do the lifestyle-based training. That way it supports their schedule and life. That way they can get the results and keep the results long-term, okay? But yeah, you start using these things, but you set that foundation with your nutrition, and you set that foundation with your training regimen. And don't look at this as like a means to an end. Like a lot of people look at working out like they got to be a bodybuilder or a fitness enthusiast. No, it's a lifestyle. If you want to have a life where you look good, you feel happy about how you look year round, you want to have energy, you don't want to have to worry and stress about having issues like high blood pressure and sleep apnea and type 2 diabetes, this has to be a lifestyle. This is a way of living. That's what I teach and preach. High performance lifestyle. I teach my coaching clients the habits and the lifestyle, and then the performance is we're improving with those habits. We improve. We don't just stay there. We get better with them. That's how we excel in our careers and in our personal life. All right. But other than that, we're out of here. Let's get it. Yo, appreciate you for tapping in and listening to the podcast episode today. Hopefully you found it valuable. And if you did and you want to learn more about how I can help you lose the big ass stomach, transform your body, and get your health on point, DM me real results over on Instagram at JJacksonOfficial for more information. And I'll reach back out to you to do what I can to help you hit those health and fitness goals. Let's get it.